talk to Richard Serrett, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Richard from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Richard Serrett.
Every time I hear this song, it just gets me right there, a lump in my throat. Bonnie Raitt feels like home, and for my money, Randy Newman, perhaps one of the greatest composers of the 20th century. That's his song. We are going to embark on an hour of open lines, and we've made the lines available to you for the next hour. And I'm game for just about anything. You know me. But if you want to chat about that horrible false nuclear alarm in Hawaii and how something like that could happen and what it all means, well, we can do that. I thought I would sort of set the table for you if you want to chew on that one. Interesting article by Izzy Lepowski on Wired Online, Wired Magazine's online edition. As the citizens of Hawaii came out of hiding in their bathtubs and basements Saturday morning after learning that the emergency alert they had received warning of an imminent nuclear missile attack was a false alarm, their fear and panic transformed into rage. Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz confirmed on Twitter that the alert, which said that a ballistic missile was inbound to Hawaii and urged people to seek shelter, was due to human error. The initial alert went out at 8:07 a.m., but it wasn't until 8:43 a.m. that the state sent a second alert announcing it was a false alarm. The governor told CNN an employee pushed the wrong button. Now here's the part that gets me. And again, this is Izzy Lepowski, Wired Magazine. Could it really be that the emergency alert system is so simplistic it only takes the twitch of a finger to send Hawaii into terror and chaos? Yes. During a press conference Saturday afternoon, the governor and officials at the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency confirmed the blunder occurred during a twice-daily test that happens when staffers switch shifts. In this case, the staffer accidentally selected a live alert instead of a test alert. After the alert went out, there was no way to automatically cancel or recall the message. Instead, they took to Twitter to tell the public the alert was a false alarm. But it took a full 38 minutes to manually generate and disseminate another corrective emergency alert that reached all Hawaiians. Officials said they're now working on speeding up that feature. Do you think? All right, if you want to talk about that, I'm all ears, and I might have a thing or two to say about it myself. Open lines on Coast to Coast AM.
If you're curious.
To talk to Richard Serrett, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Richard from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Richard Serrett.
Welcome back. Crazy in the Night, Kim Carnes. I get so many comments from nice, good comments from listeners of Coast to Coast who appreciate my playing that song as we head into the home stretch. We always play Crazy in the Night when I'm in the air chair at this time. And I don't know, it just speaks to me as the host of a late-night call-in show talking about the things that we talk about. And if nothing else, you know, my playing the song, all the royalties going to Kim Carnes, maybe, I don't know, she'll be able to put some braces on one of her grandkids. I'm assuming she has grandkids. I don't know at this point. I'm really hoping Kim Carnes will maybe even call into the program one night. Would be great to speak to her. All right. open lines. I can't tell you how much I enjoy them. I mean, what other program, where else, anywhere in the world, can you go from a man eating chupacabra to genetic splicing in the span of 2 minutes? Nowhere. That's where. Nowhere. Before we get back to the calls, just wanted to remind you once again about George Norrie's doings. All right. Wow, we have about 20 minutes left before we dim the lights. Where did the evening go? Parting is always such sweet sadness. But until then, we have some great calls to work through. I want to get to some more crisper calls, people that were hanging on when we had Dr. Josiah on. And then I want to get to Darren in Hawaii to talk about this false launch alarm. So, Darren, just stay put, hang in there. I will get to you. But I do want to get to Joshua in Brooklyn, who wants to talk about DNA splicing. Hey, Joshua, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I just want to let you know that DNA splicing
is sort of conspiratorial bent that Big Pharma is going to swoop in and prevent some of this information from getting out because they can't patent it and own it. Well, then it's almost like the power of the internet. You're going to spread that knowledge around. So then who does Big Pharma go after? Right? It's everywhere. It's like mercury. You break a thermometer. You've seen what happens to mercury. It's like or quicksilver. It beads up and it's all over the place and you can't gather it in. So that's what he's unleashing in a manner. Alvin, appreciate the call. Thank you. Now I want to get to Darren on the wild card line. He's in Hawaii, and Darren, tell me what was going through your mind. I can't imagine. Those 40 minutes must have seemed like hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, it was quite funny. I heard the alarm go off on my cell phone. I kind of ignored it because we were supposed to get 40-foot waves this weekend. My daughter came running downstairs, and so we looked at it. I told her not to panic, and it was surprising because nothing was on the radio stations, nothing across the TV. I turned on my amateur radio station. I'm a ham radio operator, so I'm involved in the emergency stuff here. They were talking about it, but nobody knew anything either. So it was quite an interesting, peaceful Saturday morning. And then we finally got word about 15 minutes in that it was actually a missile coming in. It was coming across the screen on the TV as an emergency alert. But still, nothing was out officially until one of the congresswomen tweeted out that it was a false alarm about 25 minutes into it. And then 38 minutes into it, they finally issued the false warning.
So 25 minutes. You received confirmation from a congresswoman that this was a false alarm, not 38 or 40 minutes. But still, no, 25 minutes.
Yeah, the official word came out, on another text message alert through the state at about 38 minutes into it. But on Twitter and some social media sites, the congresswoman had said about 25 minutes into it that it was an error. So I've worked at PACOM in the military, and I've been in that bunker at Diamond Head where all that happens at, and it's a very small and cramped area. So.
And, so you're saying you could, because it's a cramped area, you could see how an accident like that could happen? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, it's, obviously one guy pushed the wrong button, and that's what everybody's saying now. So, it's just, I've been involved in a bunch of exercises, and we always had to start our exercises with exercise, and then send a message. So I was surprised they didn't do that either in the state government. It just came across as this is not a drill kind of thing. So that's what panicked everybody.
But it sounds like cooler heads prevailed at your house. You were looking for other confirmation. You were looking at news reports, and because there was nothing else there to corroborate it, you had immediate suspicions. Is that fair to say?
We have a very good alert system with sirens and stuff. And in December, they actually started testing the nuclear warning sirens. They tested the first work day of the month. And I was thinking, why isn't the sirens not going off? And the ham radio operators are saying the same thing. Hey, there's no sirens going off downtown, but there's people running around. I was listening to the scanner, and the HPD, really the Honolulu Police Department, was saying the same thing. Hey, what's going on? People are asking us. We don't know. So there was a lot of panic, but I was just thinking, because I'm involved in the amateur radio and the emergency preparedness, that, hey, why is nothing on the radios? Why is nothing on the TVs? Why are the sirens not going off? So there's a lot of suspicion.
Well, the other interesting aspect of this is, and there are nuclear experts, some quoted in the New York Times, that were concerned that this situation could have led to an unintended nuclear war with North Korea, because if they realized that Hawaii was under this alarm, this threat of a nuclear war for 38, 40 minutes, that may have been sent out as cover, because Hawaii was being told to prepare for a counterstrike. In other words, our missiles had already left the silo. And so that could have resulted in an unintended nuclear war. And of course, then they're seizing upon this whole situation, this false alarm, to sort of say, see, we told you so, waving their finger at the president. All this tough talk, ramping up and saber rattling and so forth, could lead to an unintended nuclear war. And I thought, you know what, that's really inappropriate. First of all, to my mind, we didn't get to the brink of nuclear war, if in fact we're there, because of some tough talk on the president, love him or hate him. We got there because of a strategy of appeasement for the last 30 years that's allowed the North Koreans to develop nuclear weapons. And now, POTUS 45, or 46, he's the one that has to deal with it. So,
yeah, he's got to make those hard decisions now. And I actually told my wife in the middle of this that, you know, if they did launch a strike, then that would be the end of North Korea as we know it, because the U.S. and the UN, and I think all the other nations would stop that. Because Hawaii's a target because of all the military presence here on Oahu. So I think that's right. President Trump has to make some hard decisions now, and he's getting beat up about it.
Well, what bugged me is that they were using this horrible situation in Hawaii, and I know people who lived through the height of the Cold War, particularly the October missile crisis in 1962, and how, you know, for days and days and days, people were just expecting this is the end. And if they heard a siren go off as part of a drill, you know, they thought, okay, grabbed their loved one and hugged them and said goodbye, because this is it. You know, they lived like that for days. So even 40 minutes of living like that, just a horrible, horrible situation. Who's ever responsible?
There were people putting their kids down the sewer pipes to protect them, and running red lights and stopping on the interstate and getting under bridges. Nobody really knew what to do. There's not any shelters here.
The mental anguish. No, there's no civil defense system in North America. They have a pretty good one in Russia, I'll tell you that much. But to leap upon this situation and then use it as a kind of an object lesson and an "I told you so" to the president, I think is just sick, quite frankly. However, Darren, I'm glad that you were sort of able to keep it together. But, the mental anguish, emotional anguish that caused people, that will be with them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, the state government, the civil defense is getting death threats now on their phones. They reported that today.
That's, it's getting ugly. Well, Darren, thank you so much for checking in and sharing that with me.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. All right. I don't think we have time for another call. So we are just going to get ready to dim the lights here and say goodnight. What a pleasure it's been spending some time with all